Yeah, how's it guys? So here we go with the unboxing of the Racing Diffs Progressive LSD kit. Obviously I have opened the box before, but so you get your two oil seals for your output shafts to the drive shafts on the sides. Everyone calls them different things, axles, whatever. That's obviously the packet that you get inside. I think I did it on my phone as well. So there you got the holding plates. That obviously after you compress the two main components, well, plates, with the springs in between them, you use that to lock them in place, and then you get a C-clip, C-clip, whatever it is, that holds the locking pin, well, the main pin that goes through your spider gears and holds that plates together. So that's the pin. Seems pretty decent. Good quality obviously, and it's lubricated when it comes out of the box. Racing Diffs sell these for like all cars, well, not all, but like a lot of cars, but it's just a good company in the sense of like really good aftermarket support. So there's your friction plate, it sits on top of the main plate. Yeah, basically I'm trying to say things in the videos and talk, but I don't really think when I do these things, so I'm just doing the voiceovers as we go. But on this I'm trying to explain, like, a lot of people just take these things out and they would lubricate them or not. I mean, obviously not, this is really catastrophic. That's one of the main failure points. But they are a bit rough, and obviously with packaging, moving things around, production, etc, there's a lot of dust and just stuff on there that shouldn't be on there. So I would obviously, you'll see I clean them, and then find a piece of cardboard, Racing Diffs on there. But super supportive company in the sense of, like, you could phone them, speak to them, message them, and they get back to you quite quick, and they answer every single question you could have. So that's pretty dope. And then the seals, that's nice. I mean, people compare this to the Phantom grip or whatever it is that you buy on eBay for like $30, and these are like $300. But there's an old seal obviously after it's been pried out of the differential case, and yeah, some people do use the old ones. It just makes no fucking sense. And they supply you with that, so that's nice, so you don't have to go get that, obviously, because they know you have to take it out, so that's cool. And then they're like trying to get it focus, but it's got Racing Diffs on the seal, which I found pretty cool. But just getting it with the kit itself is pretty dope. So I went to a mate of mine to get the plates compressed because I don't have a vise. I thought about putting it like under the jack, under the car, and just compressing it, but it just didn't seem worth it. We could have made a funny video, it went wrong, but yeah, so I figured vise, that's the way to go. So there I'm just have brake cleaner, cleaning everything as I go. Making sure that it's like 100% clean, because you don't want nothing in there. I mean, those friction plates, they are on top of each other, obviously lubricated, but even if there's sand or any bad shit, it's gonna fuck it up. So obviously, like, I clean things 2-3 times. I'm not an expert at anything, but I try to do the best I can do, and that seems important to me. Yeah, also to note, there's a couple of things on they've got a lot of videos and tutorials of how to install these things properly. I think I still did maybe make a few mistakes. One of them being I take the original center pin or locking pin, whatever you want to call it, out. Came out pretty easily. The C-clip that comes in the diff isn't, it's thinner than the one that's supplied with Racing Diffs. I think it's still in there because I just knocked it through, obviously from the same side, and this is me just prying it out. I think, yeah, it doesn't matter too much if you like scratch the casing on the inside. I don't think it'll make a big difference as long as there's nothing damaged. And there you can see the difference between the Racing Diffs, definitely thicker, the pin or clip, and also it's longer, so there's much less. You'll see there's a bigger space between those two, so it obviously should have much more tension and lock better in place, especially with the supplied pin that you're going to use once your plates are in place and loosened up. I figured out this video is quite long. I could have like shortened it a bit. I did some, but yeah. So to put the pin back in is just straight through the middle and then tilt it, and then it should fall into place there. It just like pops it into the top, and then I just push down and then clicks into place. Perfect, as it should. There we go. Yes, could have gone much quicker. So there's obviously your center pin. That is a 2-piece with a bolt. I think it's a 4mm bolt with I think a 3 or 4 Allen key that holds it in place. There's some oil in there. So I didn't spray it out yet. I'm going to, but you see, obviously lubrication, lube everything. Some people might use assembly lube. I just use the oil. So racing diffs recommend, I think it's a 75-140 LS differential oil, axle oil, whatever you want to call it, gear oil even. It's all the same, I think. I mean, LS is a bit different apparently, but I'm not a fucking engineer or whatever that makes these things, so I wouldn't know. So I just get what's recommended. Obviously Motul is quite difficult to get in my country, and Ravenol is fantastic products, so I just use them. So yeah, I go to lubricate obviously the top of the friction plate, well the plate where the friction plate needs to go on. Instead of just smearing it in, I just take my time, I guess, just waste everyone else's. Add some more oil. Put the friction plate on top. Well, first move it around, put the friction plate on top, turn it around, make sure the oil distributes evenly. Nothing that moves should lack oil, so make sure to cover all the oil and you should be good to go. Yeah, it takes me a while to edit these things, do voiceovers. It's all new to me. I'm not a technologically like, not even advanced, like intermediate, not even a technological fucking beginner, to be honest, but I'm trying. I just love cars, trying to bring the love for cars back. That's all I want to do. I don't care about anything else. So yeah, there I do the other side. I just sits there, just like more impatient. You can see, just like flipping the plate over and over, making sure it's all lubricated. And then I think I set it down one side. Oh no, I just pop it into place, yeah. And then this is also a thing, so I was quite concerned while putting that in place, like, you know, loosening those bolts and the thing popping out into place. It's not close to as dramatic as I assumed, but I did, however, find just like I think it's like a SDS what do you call it, chisel. So I just use the back to push it through the hole, just to keep, you know, the plate relatively to the middle. But you can just pop it into place and knock it around with like a rubber mallet or whatever into like the center, especially with the pin that they've designed, with it being quite shaped on the one side, rounded, so it could easily glide and shift into place. But yeah, so again, just make sure you lubricate everything as you put it in. And there, I think the second plate popped there. And then loosen them. Obviously make sure you take out all 4 bolts with both plates. I don't think you want that inside your differential moving at quite a high speed. They could, well, I say cause catastrophic failure, but I welded my diff the first time myself, and the plate one side actually just like broke out, fell out, and just ran under my diff for a couple of weeks, months maybe. And I wondered what that noise was until I took it out, and yeah, everything was still fine. It held on the one side. So at this point I would point out, there you can see it's centered pretty nicely. I would point out there again, lubrication. That a welding diff, if you're drifting, just drifting, I do 100% think is the best, most affordable, the best option. But when you want to daily your car, drive around parking lots, things like that, sharp turns, etc., it's quite annoying. It's definitely annoying, depending if you know what your suspension setup's like, all that. So there I push the pin in, goes that far. And then some people say, well, I know it's better to push that down with a press. I don't have one, so I just knocked it with my little rubber mallet. I think it's actually polyurethane on that side, and you don't hear the click, or you wouldn't, but there was a click there, and then I heard obviously it clicked into the circle. And then the other side, this side I had a bit of a struggle with, obviously it being lubricated and oil in there. So I'm just pointing out that, you know, I think I need to obviously see Loctite's quite important in this specific scenario. I'm not editing my voice or doing things over and over again. This is just it. So I spray it upside down, just in the where the thread is gonna be, and I think they call these blind holes, meaning that all the holes, like in that pin, has no exit. So the way you apply Loctite is quite important, and I think I should actually cut into this moment, hopefully showing you a video of, you know, like just how you should put your Loctite on, that Racing Diffs has on their channel. I'll just try to edit it in at some point, like maybe, I don't know.
But what happens if you have a thread lock technique the same way but on a blind hole? Now watch this. Air from the bottom is pushing the compound out from the thread. This leaves a thread housing with very little thread locker applied inside, so this fastener may loosen itself. And finally, I'm going to show you the proper way. Filling the hole with a thread locker, creating a small pool of compound towards the bottom. As you fasten the fastener in, compound will be spread evenly in all parts of the thread. Like this, finally.
If I remember. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously cleaning everything, so I couldn't get the proper Loctite, so I got that's the only one I could get my hands on in the time, but I'm sure and hope it does the same, well, the same quality. So they obviously couldn't go down because there's air below it, so I just popped it with a screwdriver so that it could run down the threads. Running completely down the thread should be fine, but you basically want a little puddle at the bottom of those as you screw in your screw. That puddle at the bottom will obviously come where the air would go and push up through, so there, I just lubricate that cap. That's the only thing one of the only things I had actual not a struggle with, but it was quite fucking hard to get that thing in. As you'll see, it'll come. So I did struggle with the rubber. I couldn't get any with the rubber manlet at all, and then I just decided, fuck it, I just took my 4 pound, boom, and it's quite a knocking off, but it is lubricated. As you can see, the oil's actually running down there, but this sits in there stuff. But I don't think that anything runs on this specific part. I think that just holds to the housing, so it should be good. Hopefully none of the gears are hooking on there. Soon to hopefully take the car out for a test drive. We need to drive it in 50 kilometers. Also another crucial thing, that's me cleaning the bolt again, because it was just laying around, making sure it's dry, blow it, make sure there's nothing, no residuals, no oils on there, otherwise the Loctite would not be as effective at all. So there, I try to throw even more Loctite in there because I'd rather have excess spreading out from the thread than have too little. Because if that fails, this is one of the critical things that fail on, I think, the majority of the failures of the LSD kits, is this not having Loctite and that little bolt. Because I mean, it's tiny, it's 4 millimeters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If that comes out, that would just be shit. So yeah, try to tighten. I don't have a torque wrench, so I tighten that. Well, I call it just fucking as tight as possible. They used to have a saying, So they are just knocking it around to see if there's any play or any movement in that pin, and there is none. I think I knock it at this side as well. I do also take a chisel and knock the sides of the pins, bend the metal a bit, to just extra insurance that it would not fall out. So I sped up this part, dropping in Loctite as much as I think would be necessary for there. Swiggled it around a bit to make sure that it covers most of the thread. So on each bolt, you just put a piece of Loctite at the bottom as well, just to make sure. I did spray that with brake cleaner as well. Lubricated, nothing there because that's not a part that needs to be lubricated, obviously, because it's held on with bolts. It doesn't move. So put that in, start putting in the bolts, and then I put them in by hand, each and every one by one, and then I do tighten them, just like as tight as I could, holding the diff because I don't have a vice. And then I did go over to a mate's place with a vice and a torque wrench, and you torque these down to 120 Newton meters. I will try to edit it in afterwards. Fucking hate editing. But yeah, gotta do what we gotta do. So there, obviously I just pull it up, make it tight as possible with my hand, and then I go around again with the ratchet, just tightening it as much as possible, you know, cross tightening. It's just like a thing, a habit. I don't even know if it makes a difference. I don't think you can bend or warp the steel by tightening one like along the sides, but rather safe than sorry. Because again, I'd like to give this a fair shot, because I saw a lot of actually I'm lying, not a lot, a few some with decent views, you know, saying we bought this thing and it blew up. But it just, you could see they you'll see as I go what's important in this. And they, you know, people don't actually how can I say, they don't try hard enough, you know, and they don't do enough research to do this kind of work. And I myself am new at it, but I'm trying my best, and I am, you know, I watch the instruction videos over and over again, you know, just to be sure. So yeah, I'll take the bearing carrier, lubricate it up nicely, because that is very important. I soak the bearings in the oil, and this is me putting the circlip in on the one side. And the only and most crucial point at this point is to align your circlips. The opening of the circlip needs to be aligned with the oil passage. There is an oil passage for a reason, to cool everything around there, your shaft, everything specifically, and lubricate it to run nicely and smoothly and not get hot on the rubber or the metal. I know the seals consist of a lot of metal and rubber, so it can get hot if it's not lubricated, well, hotter. And I think that could cause some, obviously, failure, leakages, running out of oil, and that could cause failure to everything else. So yeah, just make sure that that is very clean. I brake cleaned that a few times, wiped it down, made no residue, nothing. Then I lubricated it, shoved it back in there. I soaked the bearing again. I do it more, turned and around and around. And the easy way to check, like, your bearings will feel loose up and down, but remember the carriers are going to push them in with the circlips. So just make sure that your bearing has no play, I don't know how to say it, but like on the shaft, like going left and right, not up and down, in and out. And it should be fine. So there, I pushed it in, fast forwarded, because I don't know why, I don't think I struggled, but I just try to do it as smooth and straight as possible. And one of the main things also is when you pry out the old seals, I did say this in the other video, try not to damage, I'm pointing at it on my fucking computer screen like you could see it, but on there where the circle obviously goes down, there where the seal sits, we must obviously try to avoid damage there under any circumstances, because then the seal won't seal well, and that would just be bad. So yeah, this is me putting in the circlip, knocking it in, and I found some trouble knocking this one in. Obviously that's good in a way, because you want it to sit as tight as possible on that bearing, but also looking at the bearing, there's no burn marks, scuff marks, there, pops, and it was in. And the oil passage, like I'll show you now, this is all new to me, but there you can see the oil passage is completely open with a circlip, quite important. Those other day crew fucking guys, I don't like insult, actually I'm lying, I like insulting people, fuck them. I think they did a fucking dog shit job on that, and they blamed this dude. And I mean, this is a man that has dedicated his life to racing stuff, and he supports a lot of people, he sponsors a lot of people, and he's just a good dude, you know, and you bashing his product. And he literally wrote an email stating it's inadequate installation, in which it was, in my opinion as well. And they also did not mention or talk about, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen there, the side shafts. I call them side shafts. They go into the spider gears, obviously. It gives you drive to your wheels, your axles. They never cut them down, so in the videos they state that you should cut down the 4 millimeters off of them. I did cut around 4 to 5 mils off just before, because it's also got a tiny circlip that hooks in. Don't avoid hitting that. Took a grinder, cut it, not even fucking straight. But yeah, so yeah, I'm taking the old seal to try to knock that in, and it just didn't feel right. It felt like that seal was cutting into the top of the other one. So I figured, okay, let me just try something else. Started knocking it a bit more with my little rubber mallet, and it worked a bit. It took more time than expected, and then I figured this is a much easier way. Just take the 4-pound, put the rubber mallet there, because it's rubber on rubber, should be fine. And then boom, it fit straight into place, and easy does it. But all these things, once you do it once, the second time you just keep flowing, and it becomes much easier, you know, with any chance or any job you do. But for me, it's more about just showing people you can do it. Like, I have very limited resources. It's a very nice fucking workbench, I must be honest. I got it off a site, so I did not pay for it, and I would never be using quartz or Caesar stone or whatever you want to fucking call it, that black sparkle fancy shit. But it was there, so I just used it. I don't have a workbench. And then there, obviously, lubrication down where the shafts must go down, because obviously you want lubrication there. I lubricated it so much. I don't think you can overdo it, so I think it's best to just do as much as you can. Because as you'll see, one of the shafts I put in without actually lubricating the shaft first, but obviously I've lubricated inside, so it's okay. Excuse me. I could cut that out, but it would take time, and I don't know how to do that. So there, it's also about the second time I have sprayed them with brake cleaner, you know, wipe them down. Now I'm spraying them again. They are clean, just making like 200% sure that they are 100% clean. Smooth, no like rough edges or anything, so that's fine. And there we go. And then I put the shaft in, feel like it's aligned, and I just knock it in. I did have an issue with one of them. I think it's that one. I actually took out again and then just knocked it in again. I don't know, just see, I added lubrication because I thought that might be a problem, which I don't think it was. I think I should just have used the hammer in the first place. And they obviously learning from the first one, just lubricate them. As you'll see, there's enough space. You can see I grinded it down there. It's just to make sure that these don't rub against the friction plates. That could cause them to work not as efficiently as they should, or as they were designed to. So the side went quite well. Yeah, I'm not sure if they were supposed to be that easy, but they did go in well, so I knocked this one back out, just to make sure, you know, checked everything. I did it around the edges nice as possible to go in, and I lubricated it up there with my hand that had some oil on it, and then boom, and in she went. And the diff is in the car at the moment. I'm gonna still make some videos testing it properly. I haven't gotten the chance to, and I'm sure I'll get there though. And then yeah, I fucked up by not recording. I think my camera died. I can't even remember, to be honest. I just lubricated a lot more, but obviously the only thing I didn't record was putting the gasket on. So just on there, just make sure that that is clean, wire brush it, whatever you need to make sure that it is clean, as smooth as possible. Get yourself some sealant, gasket maker, whatever, something go up to about 300 degrees, I think, minimum. Like Victorines, for instance, that's just a product I really trust a lot, and I always use Victorines. And you just make sure that you cover that completely with Victorines. I like to cover it, make sure that there's right around the bolts, inner or outer, it doesn't matter, but just make sure it's clean and it's good. So feeling like shit, sick as shit, but fuck it, gotta go. So this needs to go in there. My pretty little blanket. Upgraded the fucking jack stands, bro. No more blicks, eh? They're not mine. It's a friend of mine's, but still, safety now. A little bit more safe.